My brother got a car for graduation. I got cleaning supplies. Dad said, "You were better off here, helping." I left that night. 3 days later, their calls begged me to come back. "Hey, I gotta get something off my chest that's been bugging me for a while. The whole drama with my family has been super frustrating, but I never thought it would end up like this. Honestly, I'm still kind of shocked. So, get comfy because this is one of those you won't believe it stories." A bit about me first. I'm Oliver, the older sibling. Growing up, I was always the one doing the heavy lifting in our family while my younger brother, Liam, seemed to get away with everything. I'm 26 now, working a regular 9 to 5, and still figuring things out. I've always been the reliable one, and honestly, I don't mind. I was taught that hard work eventually pays off, even if it's a slow burn. Liam, on the other hand, is 22 and not exactly a fan of hard work. He's a master at manipulating situations to his advantage, always managing to get whatever he wanted handed to him, whether it's gadgets, designer clothes, or trips. Our parents seemed to give him everything he asked for, while I was stuck doing all the boring stuff like taking care of the house, running errands, and handling all the jobs they didn't want. Our parents were strict with me, always stressing that I had to earn my place and that life wouldn't be easy. That was their favorite line. I never really got why they treated me differently than Liam. They'd say they wanted me to be responsible and level-headed. Fine, I get that. But it was always on their terms. If something needed doing, they turned to me. If a big decision came up, I had to take charge. But Liam? He was treated like a prince, no matter what. He could do no wrong. Over the years, I learned to deal with it. Sure, I didn't get all the flashy things, but I had something Liam didn't: independence. I got a job at 16, worked through school, and kept things together. Liam, though, never lifted a finger. It drove me crazy seeing how they'd bend over backward for him. Things got really intense around his graduation. It was a big deal for our parents. They acted like it was a grand achievement, even though Liam barely scraped by with his classes. But they were so proud of him. The graduation celebration was a small gathering, nothing fancy, but they made it seem like a worldwide event with cakes, balloons, and decorations. It felt like it was the most important day of the year for them. I don't want to sound bitter, but it's hard not to when you're in my shoes. They focused so much on Liam that they didn't even think about what I'd achieved. I kept the house running, helped pay bills when Dad's job didn't cover everything, and did all the grocery shopping and laundry. Then came the presents. Liam got a shiny new car, something our parents could barely afford. I later found out they took out a loan for it. I wasn't mad about the car itself, but the lengths they went to get it for him stung, especially when they hardly acknowledged my contributions. When it was my turn, I tried to brush off my feelings and not be the guy who complains about not getting a fancy gift. But what I got was a total slap in the face. I sat on the couch, trying to hide my anxiety. It was like I already knew what was coming. Mom smiled at me, but it felt different, almost condescending. "Oliver," she said softly, almost too sweetly, "we know you're so responsible, and we wanted to make sure you have what you need for your future. We thought this would be practical." I tried to smile back, masking my growing frustration. I didn't want to seem ungrateful, but I was bracing for disappointment. They handed me a small, light box. When I opened it, I couldn't believe it: a stack of household cleaning supplies, paper towels, sponges, dish soap, and the like. I was speechless, just staring at the contents, trying to process it. "Mom, Dad," I started, but my voice faltered. "What is this?" Dad chuckled, slapping his knee. "Well, Oliver, now you can be even more useful around the house. You've always been so responsible, and this is just another way to show how much you contribute." I blinked, trying to understand. Was this a joke? Liam, sitting next to me, was grinning ear to ear, looking at me with a smug expression. "Yeah, Ollie, now you can keep things nice and clean. You always seem to be the one doing the chores anyway." My stomach churned. I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't expect this. I didn't expect it to hurt that much, but there they were, giving my brother a brand new car while I got a pile of cleaning supplies. I gulped hard, feeling like there was something stuck in my throat. Not wanting to sit there any longer, I stood up and said, "I'm going to head out for a bit. I need some air." Without waiting for anyone to respond, I grabbed my jacket, packed a bag, and left. I didn't have a clue what I was looking for, but I knew I needed to get out of there. My parents shouted after me, but I didn't look back. I ended up walking for what seemed like hours, just trying to clear my head. Eventually, I found myself sitting on a bench near the park, my mind racing. I was angry, like, really angry, but also just exhausted from always being the responsible one, from doing everything right and still being overlooked. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through messages aimlessly to distract myself from the mess back home. Home. It didn't even feel like home anymore, more like a prison. Finally, I decided to call a cab and head to my friend Jake's place for a breather. When I got there, I laid it all out for him. Jake just listened, though I could see he was just as frustrated as I was. He said, "You don't deserve that, Oliver. You've been working your butt off for years, and they just keep using you. You're not a maid," I sighed, feeling the weight of it all over again. "I'm just tired," I admitted. "I've done everything I could, but they still treat him like he can do no wrong." Jake paused before suggesting something I hadn't considered. "Why don't you just leave? Get a job, start fresh somewhere new. You don't need them." His words hit me hard. He was right. Why was I putting up with this? I spent the night at Jake's, and by morning, I knew what I had to do. It wasn't just about the stupid gift anymore, it was about my whole life, how my parents treated me compared to Liam. So, I packed what I needed and headed home to tell them I was leaving. They weren't there when I arrived, which felt eerily final, like closing a chapter. When they eventually came back and found me packing, they were shocked. My mom called out, surprised, "Oliver, where are you going?" I stood firm. "I'm leaving, Mom." She was stunned. "You can't just leave like this," she protested. I replied calmly, "I've carried this family too long. You don't really need me, you've got Liam for that." My dad seemed confused as he tried to wrap his head around it all. "What do you mean? You're leaving the family after everything we've done for you?" he asked. I sighed. "What have you done for me, Dad? Liam gets a car, and I get cleaning supplies. That's what I mean to you." Mom tried to explain, claiming they were making sacrifices for my future, but I shook my head. "No, you've never seen me, only what I can do for you. I'm done." Liam, standing in the doorway with a smug look, commented, "Wow, Oli, leaving already? Can't handle the spotlight, huh?" I glared at him. "Shut up, Liam, you don't know anything." Ignoring my mom's frantic pleas, I walked out. In the cab to an apartment I'd rented earlier that day, I finally felt the weight lift. I had taken the first step toward a new beginning. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. And hit the notification bell to stay updated with more crazy real-life stories happening around you. So here's the story. After what seemed like forever, I finally felt free. The next year was a whirlwind. I grabbed a 9-to-5 sales job just to keep the bills paid, but my main focus was always on a side hustle. It took some blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of late nights, but after a few months, things started clicking. I was making real money online, not just pocket change, but enough to start dreaming a little bigger. I wasn't leaning on family anymore, and for once, I didn't feel like I was stuck in my brother's shadow. But with success came those inevitable phone calls. I went from barely scraping by and relying on my parents to being a self-sufficient adult with a taste of financial freedom. No, I wasn't rolling in dough yet, but the freedom and control I had over my life felt huge. Every time I checked my bank account and saw my savings grow, it was like a mini victory. But, of course, as I got more successful, family started reaching out more. It started with a text from my mom. At first, it was all casual, like nothing had changed. "Hey, Oliver, how's the new place? Hope you're settling in. Been busy with work?" It was pretty clear she was trying to see what I was up to, so I kept it vague. "I'm doing well, work's good, keeping busy." After a few days, she messaged again, and this time, the vibe was different. "Oliver, your dad and I have been thinking. We're really proud of you and just wanted you to know we're here for you." It felt like they were testing the waters, hoping to open a bigger conversation. I knew exactly what they wanted, but I played it cool. "Thanks, Mom. I appreciate it." A week passed, and then my brother Liam hit me up. "Hey Ollie, hope you're doing all right. I know things are a bit tense, but just wanted to check in. How's work?" Liam suddenly thinking about me was a surprise. He never seemed to care about anyone but himself. I didn't want to get petty, so I just replied with the same vague line I'd fed Mom. A few days later, Mom called. I almost didn't pick up, but I did. "Hello, Oliver, honey, it's Mom. Your dad and I were just talking, and we were wondering if you could come by. We miss you. It's not the same without you here." My gut told me it was a trap. They never seemed to miss me until now, months after I'd left. I could almost hear the desperation. I kept it neutral. "I don't know, Mom. I've got a lot going on." She paused, and I could hear her breathing. Then she finally said, "Well, it's just with everything going on, we've been struggling. Liam's car, the bills, it's just been a lot. We could really use your help. There it was. They were in debt from Liam's car and couldn't keep up, remembering me only when it was convenient. I felt a mix of emotions, but mostly frustration. I don't know what you expect, Mom. I'm not coming back. I've built my life here. Her voice softened, almost pleading. We know you're doing well, Oliver. We just thought you could help us out a little. Just to get back on our feet. I was quiet, thinking about how easily they expected me to drop everything. Listen, Mom, I'm not coming back. You and Dad made your choices. You can't just call me when things get tough. There was a long pause before she spoke again, almost begging. Oliver, please. We've made mistakes, but we're trying. We really need you. I felt mixed emotions, anger, sympathy, a bit of resentment. I'd worked hard to move on, and now they were trying to reel me back in. I can't help you, I said, feeling more certain. I've worked too hard for this. I'm not getting sucked back into that. That was just the first of many calls. They kept coming over the next few weeks, each one more desperate than the last. Mom and Dad each with their own reasons, reminding me of how much they'd done for me, even bringing up Liam's grade slipping. But every time, I stood my ground, until finally, the call stopped. The silence that followed felt almost worse than the constant requests. I knew they were pissed, but that didn't stop me from living my life. Then one day, I got a message from Liam, and this time it was different. It wasn't just the usual "Hey, how are you?" or "I miss you." Nope, this was a full-on SOS. Oliver, I need your help. Things are going off the rails. Dad's super upset, and Mom's at a loss. We're in deep trouble. At first, I didn't even know how to respond. Should I even get involved? What was he trying to pull? After a few minutes of staring at the screen, I typed back, "What do you want from me, Liam?" His reply came back in a flash, and I could feel the stress through the screen. "Ally, I'm serious. We're drowning in debt and can't keep up with car payments. I don't know who else to turn to." My heart sank. This wasn't just their mess anymore, it was like watching a family crumble. And Liam, who'd always had everything handed to him, was waking up to the chaos. I sat there, fingers twitching with frustration, and finally shot back, "Liam, you don't get it. This isn't my problem." I know it sounded harsh, but I had to draw the line somewhere. This wasn't about money, it was about standing up for myself. I wasn't going to be their safety net again. I added, "You and Dad got yourselves into this. Remember when I left? I said I was done. I'm not coming back to fix your mess. Don't expect me to." Sending that message felt like a weight was lifted. I wasn't going to let them guilt trip me again. But just as I hit send, my phone rang. It was Mom. The last thing I wanted was to talk to her, but it wouldn't stop ringing. I took a deep breath and answered. "Hello, Oliver," she started, and I could hear her voice cracking. She was trying to hold it together, but I could sense the desperation. "We need you to come back. Your dad's not handling things well. Ollie, I'm really worried. And Liam. His grades are slipping, he's overwhelmed. It's all falling apart." My patience was wearing thin. "Mom, I've got my own life now. I told you before, I'm not coming back. You chose to spoil Liam and leave me out. Now you want me to drop everything and fix it? No." The line went silent, and I knew my words stung. But I wasn't going to apologize this time. "Mom, you need to sort this out on your own," I continued, more firmly. "I'm not your backup plan." Her voice trembled as she said, "I'm not asking you to fix everything, Oliver. We just thought maybe you could help a bit. We don't know where else to turn." I felt anger rising. "Oh, so now you remember me? You ignored me when I needed you, and now that you're in trouble, you think I owe you? Where's that perfect family you were so proud of?" Her voice broke. "It's not like that, Ollie. We made mistakes, but we're trying to do better. Please, just come home." I felt a bitter laugh escape. "I'm not coming back, and I'm not bailing you out. You can't just call me when it's convenient." She started to plead, but I cut her off. "No, I've heard enough. I'm not your solution. Want to fix this? Start with Liam. The one who's never had to work for anything? Teach him what it means to face reality." I could hear her sobbing, her words barely coming through. "You don't understand, Ollie. You don't know how hard it's been." A wave of guilt hit me, but I shook it off. "I understand perfectly," I replied, hardening my voice. "But I'm not putting my life on hold for yours. You need to deal with the choices you made." I hung up, breathing out the frustration that had been boiling inside for months. They'd always manipulated me, made me the go-to guy for their problems, but not anymore. I knew this wouldn't be the end. They'd try again. Mom was always persistent, and Dad would sulk and try to guilt trip me. But I was done letting them drag me back into that life. About a week later, as I was getting ready to leave work, I saw a notification light up my phone. So, I got this message from my dad, and it kinda threw me off. He says they've been chatting and making some changes, and they're really sorry for how things have been. Basically, my folks just want to help me and miss me a lot. They're asking me to come back home so we can sort things out together. As I read the message, my heart was pounding. I wasn't quite sure how to feel about it. Part of me was ticked off, but another part of me thought maybe they really meant it. I didn't reply right away. Instead, I just sat there in my apartment, replaying everything in my mind, how they treated me and never showed an ounce of this supposed love when I needed it. Now, suddenly, they're asking for my help? I wasn't buying it. A few days went by, and I didn't hear from them again. I started thinking maybe they'd given up or finally realized they can't just rely on me anymore, that I'm not just their backup option. Then another message popped up, but this time it was from Liam. Are you really gonna leave us hanging like this? What's the point of family if you don't help when we're stuck? You've been selfish, and we're struggling while you just let us drown. I thought you were better than this. Yep, there it was, the manipulation, the guilt trip, same old tactics. I wasn't surprised it was Liam. He's always been the type to play the victim when things didn't go his way, thinking the world should revolve around him. But this time, I wasn't gonna let it slide. I sat down and typed out my response carefully, making sure every word mattered. Liam, you don't get it. I'm not your backup, and I'm definitely not your savior. You're the one who always gets everything handed to you, and now that things aren't perfect, you want to pin it on me? I don't owe you anything. You're an adult, just like I am. It's time you stood on your own. You've always had life easy, and now you want me to come back and fix everything? That's not how it works. Don't contact me again unless you're ready to own up to what you've done. With a deep breath, I hit send, my finger trembling a bit. I'd never been more certain of anything in my life. But that wasn't the end of it. A few weeks later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't pick up, but something in me said I should. It was my dad on the other end. Oliver, we know we messed up, he said, sounding more vulnerable than I'd ever heard him. He kept apologizing, saying they didn't want me to feel like they only cared about what I could do for them. They just wanted our family back. The words hit me hard, and part of me wanted to believe them, to think maybe they were truly sorry. But my logical side reminded me of all the times they took me for granted, used me, and manipulated me into cleaning up their messes. I'd been their backup plan for too long, and I was over it. I'm not coming back, Dad, I said, keeping my voice steady. Not now, not ever. You had your chance, and you blew it. I'm not going to forget everything just because you're sorry now. You made your choices, and I'm making mine. There was a long silence. I could hear him breathing heavily, finally saying, I understand, but please, just know we're here if you ever change your mind. I hung up, sitting in the quiet of my apartment, feeling a strange sense of relief. For the first time, I felt free. It's been a year since that last conversation. My parents have tried reaching out a few times, but I've stood my ground. I'm not letting them back into my life, and I refuse to feel guilty about it. Over the past year, I've been building a life for myself, making sure I'll never have to rely on anyone again. My income is growing steadily, and in a few months, I'll officially be financially independent. Deep down, I know that when they find out, they'll probably try to contact me again, but this time, I won't be there. So, what do you think? Am I wrong for refusing to help them? Honestly, I'm torn between feeling like I made the right choice and feeling guilty about leaving them behind. It's tough because they're family, but after everything, I just can't seem to forgive them. Let me know what you think.